So again, another relatively flat weekend with a couple of false moves both ways, but BTC sitting at around 64K here. And there's a lot of speculation that the bottom is nearly in here. Is the bottom coming in June? I'm going to show you a couple of indicators that I think could give us some kind of short-term bounce here on BTC in the next, say, 24 hours. We could have something coming. Then I've got a couple of juicy altcoin setups. I've got a couple of updates for you on a couple of trades that I'm sitting in. And then I'm bringing in a meme expert here. He's one of our resident DGens at 𝗏𝗏𝗧 𝗕𝗏𝗏, and he's bringing you guys a ton of alpha. So it's Sunday. We've got a lot to talk about here. Let's get right into this. And as usual, if you are enjoying the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell. And don't forget, you can catch me on Banter Plus Monday to Friday. Today, I'm on the main channel, but if you want this type of action, Monday to Friday, I'm sitting on Banter Plus. You can catch me there. Let's take a look at Banter Bubbles at the moment, and it's looking pretty red. It's looking pretty dark here with AVAX. There's news on AVAX. There's some FUD coming around on AVAX, but I think this is going to give us an opportunity. Look at that. It's minus 6.6% at the moment. It's dripping down into a big zone. So I've got an AVAX setup prep for you guys. Then we've seen a lot of TON talk in the last couple of days too. That has now hit my TP zones. I'm going to be taking profit on that TON trade that I showed you guys. We're going to go through that one together. And then just look all around. I mean, we can't say it's total misery, but it's not the best look. But often these types of moves on the weekends give us some kind of dip into nice juicy areas where we can tee up some longs for the Monday. So let's take a look at where we are right now. And BTC, you can see we're just floating around the 64K at the moment. And I was waiting now for just before the show. I was waiting for the 618 potential scalp long that I've been looking for. And it seems that we are front running this region at the moment. So for me, what am I watching now in the next, say, 12 hours to 24 hours on BTC? I'm going to say 63,800. This is an interesting zone here for me. Then a little bit lower down, I've got the 63,400. That would be a beautiful little double bottom into that zone for us. That could be a nice little trigger. And then let's not forget the big dog that has been staring us in the face for the last couple of weeks here, or even longer, the last couple of months. 62,500. This is a 618. We know how much BTC loves a 618, and would be very strange if the bottom wasn't in before a little touch there on that 618. So I'm going to be watching this closely now in the next 24 hours. Then we're going to dive into some bigger picture charts for you guys, and I've got a couple of interesting indicators that I want to show you. But first, let's just take a look at where we are this week and what is going down. This is the 𝗚𝗢𝗧 and they've given us a nice breakdown for the week or what to expect. Just some market moving things happening in and around. So one of the big ones for me is May PCE inflation data. That's coming on Friday, but a lot of market movers here. And we noted last week we had that quadruple witching that we looked at on Friday. And, it was definitely supposed to be a massive market mover, but we saw that the S&P was relatively chill. There was a small little dump on the S&P, and then it recovered relatively well. So basically, I would say right now we're looking flat on that big news. So we're going to see how this week is going to play out. But before we get into some more of this juicy stuff, I just wanted to show you guys this beautiful little tweet from Altcoin Daily that I picked up here earlier today. And they said, remember when CNBC had a funeral for Bitcoin at 6K? Ray, you're just going to have to give me a sound check here. I'm going to just pull this little video up. I thought this thing was beautiful. Let's get this one playing here for you guys.
Price action in crypto has given us pause and forced us to ask a tough question. Should we continue to cover Bitcoin? And the answer is sadly no. So today we're having a funeral for Bitcoin. It was fun while it lasted. So many memories, so many friends. There was Tom Lee and his calls for 20,000 by year end. There was Novogratz and his calls for 40,000. And there was Ripple. I think we'll miss you most of all, Brad Garlinghouse. And then there were the characters. Bitcoin Jesus, the Oracle of Bitcoin, all 500 of Ethereum co-founders, and who could forget the Coinbase screen grab and mindless trolling on Twitter, and of course our Bitcoin bug. Bitcoin, we hardly knew you.
So they had a funeral for BTC. I'm just loving this this comment here at the bottom from 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗕𝗓. He says, and we'll be throwing a funeral for CNBC eventually. So yeah, these guys, they're giving up on BTC. They're loving it again. They're giving up, and you know the drill. BTC is not going anywhere. We're loving it. And just remember, this man is wearing his special goggles today, and I'm assuming these are his bull goggles here. And even though we're still short on some of these AI tokens, so we're going to deal with that one now. And maybe, you never know, maybe Ray's got a little Celestia, a little special brewing here for us. Okay, let's get back into some of these news events. One of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about was this clean looking liquidation map that we've got running at the moment. Look how neat they have packaged this at the moment, and we've got some very clear levels here.
Whoa. There's something more clean that we need to check out. Let's check out the likes, please. Definitely check out the likes.
We're dealing with the likes. Okay, guys, if you're enjoying the content, hit the like button. Keep the man in the goggles. Keep him happy. Keep him satisfied. Okay, so the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map. Look how clean these levels are. These are all the exchanges here. BTC on the 1 day. And just giving us a nice little picture as to where you can have a little bit of fun. And you can see at the moment, sometimes we like it if it's a little bit skewed in one direction. It kind of shows us where we could be potentially going. But if you just look at this little liquidation map here at the moment, these lows sitting at 63K, looking very interesting here, down to say 63,500. That was a nice little level that I gave you there. And then look at this cluster here. How does this tie in with that 618 fib? How beautiful is this? 62,700. So that is looking nice. So just to tie that in one more time here for you guys, that 62,500 region is a hot zone, and it's tying in beautifully now with this little liquidation map. Wouldn't that be a nice little dip into the zone and then a nice little long for some of us? So we're going to see how that is going to play out. One of the things you need to be watching this week, especially in the next, say, 24 hours, obviously, has got to be dominance. This is dominance that I've been tracking on the 12-hour, and this gives us a great guide. And we saw last week that we had BTC printing new lows while we had these altcoins printing higher lows. And that is pretty much still in play on a host of these alts. Obviously, some of them have lost these lows, like AVAX, for example, and a couple of others. But if we go across the board here, we're going to note that a lot of these alts are holding higher lows at the moment. And that could be a sign that the minute we get a nice little ping on BTC on a good zone, we're going to be able to long these alts or max long some of these alts. Now, you might have noticed I had an interesting chart on my tile here today, and basically BTC is slap bang in the middle of this huge little range at the moment. So if we take a look at from the highs of the range, we move to the bottom, we're at 10%. If we go all the way down, this is slap bang in the middle of a 20% range at the moment. So, a lot of guys are getting pretty bearish at the moment with where things are sitting. But I think what we need to do is really just step back and take a look and see where we are now in this current picture. And, could we be front running some kind of low? So this downtrend that I've had in play here for the last few weeks for you guys, nothing is really changing here at the moment. And you can see on the daily, the big level for me on this daily has got to be the 618 fib. That is a zone that I've got tons of interest in at the moment. And I've got a little indicator here at the bottom, this daily RSI. Now, this is just a regular RSI that I like to use. And we've noted before, we can use this as a nice little guide for us. And the last time we pinged these types of levels on the regular RSI on the daily, we had a nice bottom in here on BTC. So we are very close, in my view, to some kind of bounce on this RSI and some kind of bounce on BTC. Does that mean it's going to take us all the way to 56K? Well, that remains to be seen. But the way I'm looking at it at the moment is I've got this thing telling me we are nearer to a bounce than we think. And maybe, if it's not going to bounce at these current areas where it is now, say the 63,500, this sort of area, that 618 for me is going to be a beautiful trigger. So that is how I'm planning things. And that is where I think we're going to get a nice big long here on BTC in the next, let's say in the next few days, we could get something teed up here. So remember, mark this on your charts, 62,500, get your alarms on TradingView. And if we do get that dip, you want to make sure that you are participating in that type of ping if we are going to get a bounce there, because things are definitely teeing up here for me for some bigger things. And DGen Fully, he says his name is GM, and he gave us an interesting post as well. And just notable here, over the past 4 years, BTC has reached the bottom exactly in June, according to his tweet here. So if you take a look here, 2020, 28th of June at bottom, 2021, 22nd of June, 2022, 19th of June, and 23, 15th of June. So things are getting tight now. We're in the last 7 days of June. Is this thing going to tee up for some kind of bottom move. Now, the last couple of times we've had nice pumps here. And if you take a look at his chart, it doesn't mean it was the absolute bottom of the move, because we still had lows after that. But there's indications here that we could get some kind of bounce, and that at least is going to unleash some of these altcoins. Those of you who are feeling in alt pain and have been pain and suffering on some of these altcoins, we might finally be getting our move. I say 𝗬𝗢𝗘𝗧 𝗕𝗔𝗞𝗘𝗗, I got my white cap on. Look, guys, I'm keeping the bull cap on, and I'm still keeping the spirits higher. We are looking for a vibe. I mean, Ray's pitched up with his AI goggles here, so it's all happening here at the moment. And where's my people in the chats here? What's happening here? I see Super B is talking about something about 24 hours ago. What's going on there? Crypto Smoke says let's go, and then I saw someone in the chats talking about XRP straight to the shitter and be hip by the dip. I mean, I don't know what's going on here, but XRP, another stable coin, and not much happening there with that Dusty at the moment there for us. And Ripple Muncher says, may the Asian DJs pump this bad boy to the moon. Look, it would be pleasant, wouldn't it? If we got some kind of big move here and teed us up nicely for the week. And Tommy is talking about the Bitcoin resurrection. Now, before I get into this next indicator, I actually did drop a poll. I wanted to see if you guys are believers in these types of things. So here's a little poll that I've got going at the moment. And I said to you, is the moon cycle indicator reliable? Okay, and 68% of you actually agree with this moon cycle indicator. Now, we've got a trader, one of our traders in the Sniper Club, Liz. She is a big fan of this moon cycle, and I saw Crown was also talking about a moon cycle today, and I thought, well, let's get this thing out. And there's also a couple of tweets floating around here on BTC. But essentially, what happens is the new moon gives us pumps and it gives us dumps. And if we pull out the chart and take a look at the last few situations here, whenever you can see the light gray print, whenever we've had our new moon here at these lows, if we take a look at the last 10 events that this has happened, we've only had this moon indicator fail once, and that was in middle of April. So all the other times we've had this light gray moon indicator push up, we've had some moves higher. And are we busy teeing up right now into another potential bounce here on BTC? So we are zooming in here right close now at these 63s. Maybe it's going to be at the 62,500. But if you are a moon believer, like 68% of you, I think we need to sit back and take note here and say, okay, we've got 2 or 3 key levels here on BTC. One of these could be the absolute trigger. And, if this moon indicator, which has played out 8 times in the last 10, is going to play out, well, we seem to have some kind of 80% hit rate that we are working with at the moment. So are we going to trade the moon? Have we reached new levels of degen where we start looking at moons and things like that? I see Bruce here. He's talking about Liz. Yeah, this is Liz in the Sniper Club. She's one of our traders in there, and she loves these cycles. So we're going to be keen to hear her views later on today. We've got a private Sniper Club session for all the Sniper Club traders. So anyway, this is a nice little indicator here. And again, this is just leaning to my bullish side of things and watching these levels very closely. Now, this Titan of crypto, if this bottom is going to be in, his little chart that he's posted here today, his bullish continuation pattern is in fact going to play out. So no coincidence here. We got the new moon, we got a 618 a little bit lower down, we got BTC at a nice little area, and we've got this bullish continuation pattern looking teed up. This is the moment. This is the area where we're going to be looking for a couple of moves. So another notable chart here, and there's a couple of signs pointing to maybe the bearishness ending at some time soon. Now, I've got a meme coin degen here with me today. We're going to bring him up just now. But before I jump into ETH and a couple of other setups that I've got for you guys, I just wanted to remind you, Baked is the new gummy. Now, if you got involved in gummy, well, the new token is going to be Baked. And there's only a couple of ways that you can take part in the free Baked airdrop. And one of them is going to be trading on Blowfin. So there's a link in the description for you. If you are trading on Blowfin, you're going to participate in that Baked airdrop. And the other way you can do it is memestaking.com. But the easiest way, jump into the link in the description here of the show, sign up to Blowfin. You can see we've got a Blowfin list here for you. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th from the top. You can read about that. Click on that link here. If you are trading on Blowfin, you're going to get a free Baked airdrop. Remember how much you guys made out of this gummy airdrop? Well, the same situation is going to be happening in free stuff for you guys. If you want a piece of that, jump into 𝗓𝗓𝗓 there and get trading and take part in that baked airdrop. Okay, the DeFi investor, he's given us a nice little list. I love to check in on this on the weekends. It sometimes gives you a couple of pointers and things to look out for. And he's highlighted a couple of things here for us. Number one, ETH. Okay, we all know about the ETH situation and the current ETH trade on the table. So we're going to deal with that one shortly. Then he had an interesting one on optimism. There wasn't unlock, but I did note that optimism has moved into a nice zone. So I'm going to give you a setup that I'm currently watching on optimism for potential long. And then he's had some interesting comments on the presidential debate between Biden and Trump. Now, remember, are we going to fire up these presidential memes again? They've gone quiet for a long time. We've seen Biden hitting absolute lows. And is it time that we get a meme revival on some of these presidential plays? So we're going to take a look at that. And I brought in my meme expert in the back here, and we're going to bring him on in a couple of minutes there. He's ready and waiting with the alpha for you guys. So we got a lot to deal with here. Okay, let's go into DeFi Squared. Just another note here. He's talking about one of his main longs, ETH. Okay, high chance of a S1 approval this week. Remember, just to remind you, when we had the S1s coming in on BTC, we had an overall move of about 20% on BTC to the upside. ETH S1 situations coming in. Are we going to get a similar move here on ETH? Well, the first thing we're going to track is ETH versus BTC on the weekly. And we can see with this S1 hanging over our heads and the ETF going live early July, we can see ETH versus BTC is really holding a nice big support zone here for us. It's basically an iron wall here. I've got the 200-day MA, 50-day MA, 100-day MA, weekly horizontals, and a massive 382 fib pool here on the weekly for ETH. So we know ETH is getting primed. ETH is sitting there just waiting for some bullish news here for a potential pump here for us. So eyes on that at the moment. And then ETH traders versus USDT. This is my 12-hour that I'm currently watching. And every time we've tapped into the 618 zone, for me, this has been a little area just to start adding a little bit to some long positions here. And then I do have an area lower down. So number one, the zone that I'm watching currently, any moves into this region, 3,450, I've been watching closely, and we've tied that in nicely with the ETH BTC holding up so well. And then a lower down, I've got 3,390 for you guys, and then I've got a big juicy level here, 3,350. This is a beautiful zone. Is that going to be tied in with a BTC wick down to that 62,500? So remember, if you see BTC falling over to the 62,500 region, you want to make sure you are tying up some of your altcoins at their corresponding major levels. Now, AVAX is one of them that's going to be coming for you, and ETH at this 3,350 could be an absolute banger here. So make sure you're pulling out your alt charts and your BTC charts when you do get some kind of downside move. So ETH, just in closing, 3,350, and then if we have to ping the corresponding 618, that BTC we are looking at, we've got 3,250. So there's three banger levels here for the ETH traders out there. These are zones where you can start picking up your little ETH scalps. Okay, and then I've got optimism for you guys. Now, we noted the DeFi investor was talking about an unlock, and you know, often we see these small unlocks, they tend to be priced in by the time they do get unlocked. And just something notable here for me for optimism, we have finally drifted into an interesting zone here. You can see I've got a rising trend and I've got a 786 fib. So for me, this optimism is starting to look a little bit interesting here, especially if ETH is now going to be bottoming out with BTC bottoming out. Is this going to turn into a nice ETH play here for us with optimism and a potential bounce? So what I'm looking at here for optimism, anything for me from 1.75 down to roughly 1.66, anywhere in this region for me for optimism looks like a potential nice risk reward play here, looks like a potential nice long brewing here for optimism. So where does this thing get invalidated if it's going to fail? Well, number one, you can see we've got a rising trend in play, and we do have our previous low. So we're just going to watch this previous low here. If we start losing this region, then we know, okay, that potential long play is going to be invalidated. But right now, we can't ignore the fact that optimism is printing higher lows here on the daily. BTC's done lower lows, and right now seems to be holding a nice juicy area. So for me, optimism could be a potential long opportunity, 1.75, anywhere down to 1.66, 1.65. That's a nice little zone there that you could be trying to eye out. So what does that look like? Well, you're just going to bang out this long position thing here on TradingView, and you can work out your risk. So right now you can see if we take a measurement from the current entry here down to the lows, that's 5.3% risk at the moment. And upside plays, well, in a perfect world, you get a taste of that 50-day MA. That's going to be around 2.3, so that's a really big move. But I think ideally you want to just tackle the first horizontal, and that's going to be roughly about a 14% move there, and that's roughly about 2 for optimism. So if things do start playing out in our favor, that is the type of zone you want to tackle for potential optimism bounce. So things looking good there at the moment. And Money Prince says OP is juice. I must say, like, OP has been a very disappointing for me lately, but I think it's starting to feel like my Celestia at the moment. The way Ray looks at Celestia, maybe optimism is going to be that. But remember, a nice ETH move can change things very quickly for ETH plays. ENS, optimism, Arbitrum, Lido, these type of things, ETHFi, and all of those. So these are all ones that you could pay attention to. And here's ENS. So ENS was one of my favorites, and waiting patiently here, and I think we're finally going to get an ENS entry. So we are nearly there at the moment. We know this thing is, there's lots of bullish news at the moment on ENS, and right now it's drifting into a zone of interest for me. So this is ENS on the daily. And you can see I've got banger horizontals in play. I've got a nice 382 as well. And this is my little golden circle. And I think when we get here, we're going to get some kind of reaction on ENS. Is that going to tie in with a little ETH wick to some support here and then a nice push higher? So ENS traders, if you've been looking for an entry, you might have your opportunity here at 22.4. So I'm looking for something like that, just a little push lower into that zone, and bang. And we want to trade this trend. We want to trade the horizontals. We want to trade the 382 as well. So ENS 22.3, 22.4. Watch out. This zone might finally give us the entry that we've been looking for. We know this thing has been super bullish here, and this thing could be an absolute banger for us. And Franchat Barber says Render. We need to take a look at Render as well. I've got an AGIX short that I'm currently in, and I think we are nearing our potential TP zone. Remember, when these things start reversing, they are going to reverse relatively quickly. So maybe we need to take a look at that one quickly. Just an update here for you guys. Now, last week, I was talking about shorting AI, and I think a lot of the guys misread what was going on in the AI narrative at the time. We had AGIX, we had Fetch, we had Ocean. They were all doing really well based on that news of the merger that they were having. But we noted that things like Render, Tower, and some of the other AI tokens weren't pumping as hard. So this obviously led us into a potential short on AGIX. So when we had this pump on AGIX into the 200-day MA, into the trend, into the horizontal, that was an obvious short play there for us that we picked up. Now, AGIX is finally drifting down and moving into our potential second TP zone. So that is the 618 play. So if you're still in this AGIX position with me, I've got 2 TP zones. So one of them is actually just passed at the moment, and that is here at 0.6. We're going to take a look at that trade at the moment shortly. And then my next big TP zone is 0.55. So that is the next big one for me for AGIX, 0.55. That is the next potential TP zone. Here's the AGIX short that I've been sitting in, and you can see we are finally just drifting lower. It took a while to get going, but now it is starting to fall over. So these are my TP zones. I'm going to be closing a little bit of AGIX here where we are right now, and I'm going to move my stop then back to entry, and then I'm going to leave a little bit in the tank here for that 0.55, and that 0.55 for me is again just the 618. So the bulls, remember, will be looking for a 618 bounce here, and that is essentially where I'm going to be looking to TP that AGIX in full. So almost there, and just drifting a little bit lower. Now, you guys can see I'm in another position here underneath. This is Ondo, and I've just started an Ondo position here just in case that was the bottom of that BTC move, because Ondo was just looking too juicy and too good to ignore. So look at this. This is Ondo on the 12-hour, and I've got a 618 getting pinged right now for Ondo. I've got a 50-day moving average getting pinged as well, and we do have these daily horizontals here tying in for us in this region. So things are looking interesting here for Ondo, and easy little play here. This is a little scalp play for me. So any pushes into that 50-day MA is for adding to this position. If we start losing the 50-day MA, then we need to sit back and say, okay, where can Ondo take us next? And the next move there for Ondo has got to be around another 3% move to these horizontals. So currently looking to add to my Ondo position, any moves into 1.1, 1.11 down to about 1.105 could be interesting for me. If we lose that area, your next zone for Ondo's got to be 1.06. That's your next zone, and that would be a simple move into trend, and then you're going to be looking for longs there. Is that going to tie into BTC with a nice little double bottom and or maybe a potential wick down to that 618? So it remains to be seen. If you want to have a crack here on Ondo with me, you jump in here. You can see your invalidation is close under that 50-day MA. Okay, how's everyone else going here? I see Khalib's looking for 𝗙𝗢. We did deal with 𝗙𝗢 last week. I like the look of 𝗙𝗢. I like the look of 𝗙𝗢 versus BTC. I like the look of 𝗙𝗢 versus USDT on the daily. I think it's a matter of time here, and that thing has bled out so much. I think we were about 70% down, and now it could be a time for a potential reversal. Scott says we're going down, and Scott, now you got your levels. If we're going down, you've got your levels. You got your scalper zones. Doesn't mean we can't have fun. If we're going down, doesn't mean we can't have a little bit of action along the way and a couple of scalps and things like that. Let's see what else we got. There's lots of talk here on Phantom. I've seen a Phantom strength, and I do have the Phantom chart for you guys as well, so we can chat about that one too. Let's see what else we got. We got questions on Link and Sol and Injective. So I do have Sol for you guys. Let's just remind you and refresh you where we were. This was this ape guy. I mean, the guy opened $39 million long on Sol. I mean, if this thing is real, and his estimated liquidation price is nothing, it's zero. So he's clearly got quite a large trading account, but he pulled this one out the hat last week, and it made sense. I mean, this is the trade that we've been looking at on Sol for the last few days, and you can see we're floating around here, and in spite of a lot of weakness on some of the other altcoins, we've seen Sol really hold this area. So this is a trade that I teed up for you guys. I think it was around on Tuesday or Wednesday we teed up this trade. Nothing has changed. We looked at it again on Friday, and here we are again today, Sunday, and Sol is just floating around this existing region. So if you're interested in a Sol trade, this is an interesting zone for me. Why? Number one, I've got the 200-day MA here. I've got the horizontals. I've got the 786, and I've got BTC flirting with a potential bottom while Sol keeps holding up this region. So for me, anywhere in this entry box, in fact, now that it's bled a little bit more, you'll get an even cheekier entry on this thing. So Sol, anything from, say, 132 down to about 129 could be considered a nice little entry zone. And remember, the deeper you get this buy on Sol, the lower your risk, the lower your stop loss risk is. So right now, from current area, your risk is about 2.2%, and the invalidation is so clear here for me, and it's pretty clean. So if we lose this 128 level, you can see I've got a nice stop zone here, 128 level. If we lose that 128 level, the next big zone for me on Sol has to be 120 down to 118. Anywhere in that area for me is your next potential long zone. Is that going to be tied in with a BTC wick to that 62,500? Remains to be seen, but mark these two levels on your charts. If this area doesn't hold, your next banger for Sol, 120 to 118. It's teeing up. It's looking good and looking interesting in this area here for me. Ray, are we still good here in the back? I feel like there's a lot of talking going on here. What's happening? What's going on?
You're handling business. You're handling business. Oh, it looks like you had a nice move in the past hour.
Okay, can you check our likes, guys? I'm going to bring on this legend. Okay, I need the maximum amount of likes. So give us a maximum likeage here. The legend's coming on here with some alpha for you guys. He's called some absolute bangers. I'm going to tell you what he's doing for us in the Sniper Club as well. And he's just going to feed you guys some alpha here. So Ray, just monitor those likes for me while I'm kicking on, and keep us posted as we going. Okay, the next one for me is TON coin. Now this is a tricky one because I'm now at my TP zone for TON, and this has been the best performer. If we look at Banter Bubbles again, we can see TON here at the bottom, 5% up this weekend. So it's the best performer on the current watch list that we have. So here is TON at the moment. We've pushed now into my right hand or my right shoulder. So for me, this was my target for my trade, and we are now pushing into the right shoulder. Does that mean TON reverses now? Not necessarily, but we need to stick to some of our targets and TP zones and things like that. So I'm going to take profit now with you guys on this CoinCatch exchange that I've been trading TON on. And right now, my plan for TON was a rejection on that right shoulder and then that move lower down. Obviously, it remains to be seen if we're going to get that full head and shoulders playing out, and we'll have to wait and see. But if you are sitting in a TON leverage position now, this is a potential right shoulder of a bearish pattern and could be considered a TP zone. So what I'm going to do here's my current TON trade that I took with you guys. And you can see on CoinCatch, that I'm long TON, and I'm still sitting in the SOL position that is basically unchanged. This is a lot of up down at the moment. So I'm going to close this TON position here. We are now at TP zone for me on that right hand shoulder. So this trade is now complete here for me. So I'm going to close this one here on CoinCatch. And there, I've banked my profits here on TON. And now the last one left is Solana. So we're going to see how the SOL trade is going to play out for us. And now remember, we've got two exchanges here that I'm showing you guys today. So CoinCatch is another one that's offering you guys a 30% cash back at the moment for trading on their platform. So go check it out. There's also a trading competition they are running at the moment. There's a couple of good prizes there, so you can grab a link in the description for you guys. And then on Weeks as well, very interesting things happening here with Weeks. They've got a token launch that is coming at the moment. And as long as you are trading on Weeks, you are earning credits for a token airdrop. For their token. So if you remember, BNB launched their own token, and that turned into a great value play. Mexi launched their own token. All these other exchanges have launched their own tokens. And if you are trading on Weeks now, you are getting early access, and you are going to participate in an airdrop for their exchange token. So things are looking interesting there for both of these exchanges at the moment. Okay, before we bring on the legend, and Ray, what's the likeage here?
The likeage is pretty solid.
Solid likeage. Okay, we like that. Look at him. He's ready and waiting. And okay, before we bring on the meme degen, what I wanted to give you guys was, those of you sitting in AVAX, has AVAX become another mega shitcoin? And, that's a question I've been asking myself, watching this thing bleed out over the last while. And 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗏𝗏 dropped an interesting tweet earlier today. AVAX has fallen 10% in the past few hours. This was yesterday. And most likely because an entity began to transfer $54 million worth of AVAX to Coinbase, Binance, Gate. Okay, that typically means that there's going to be some kind of selling going on. And, just a tweet like that, even without the selling, is enough to spook the market and start freaking the guys out. So here was AVAX, and this was teeing up into a massive head and shoulders. Now, remember last week and late the week before, we were looking at head and shoulder plays on Rune. We were looking at IMX. We were looking at AVAX. There were a lot of altcoins teeing up on the weekly with head and shoulders. Link was another one that was looking like a potential mover to the downside. And is AVAX now front running a lot of these other tokens? So that is something we need to just pay attention to, but we cannot ignore the size of this potential trade coming here on AVAX. Now, remember, the market tends to overreact and panic when these type of headlines and these type of tweets start flying around. But that is opportunity here for traders. And right now, AVAX on the weekly is really starting to bleed into a very, very interesting zone here for me, 20.76. So I would suggest here, put your alarm on for AVAX 20, put your alarm on around about 21. There could be a nice little buy coming for AVAX. And this is not obviously the full move of that possible head and shoulders, but we often see some of these altcoins, they front run the full move on these plays. And I think we're going to get a nice juicy long here on AVAX. And it's a nice clean move. And that candle, if we do get this push now in the next, say, 24 hours, we could get a nice trade tee up here for about a 40% play on AVAX. And all it's going to take is BTC to decide where its bottom is. 62.5, is it 63? Is that going to be the bottom? That should tie in with a nice little reaction here on something like AVAX. So an absolute banger coming here for AVAX. I'm just going to put my alarm on here on TradingView. I'm going to set it at 21. And hopefully they're going to ping me even in the dead of the night. I think I need one of those pillows that vibrates, that wakes you up when your alarm hits. But that is a potential play here for AVAX. So just be patient. It's obviously
vibrate.
You get these things. I think Bybit did it, where you connect it to your phone and then it wakes you up while you're sleeping. No, legit.
Interesting.
So AVAX, you can see it's sitting on a weekly level now, but got to respect the big, juicy weekly level. Got to respect the fib at 786. So let's call it 21 for AVAX. Looks like a banger there coming for us. And then one more touch on Phantom. Well, now we know there's lots of bullish things happening on Phantom, and I see you guys in the chats are asking. And if you look at Phantom relative to Sol, relative to AVAX and all these types of things, it's actually performed pretty nicely. And it's one of the stronger players at the moment. So AVAX traders, what I can suggest here, support that you want to be watching. And we don't want to go much deeper than this on any pullbacks here. 0.52. So I'm watching this trend region and these lows here. 0.52. Obviously, we can highlight that previous wick low, and that might be tied in with BTC bottoming in at 0.47. But right now, I don't want to see much lower than 0.52 for Phantom, but all is well. All is looking good. On Phantom, we did note Phantom reject with BTC, Phantom versus BTC. There was a slight rejection there, but that's pretty normal for these type of moves. Let's see, it's holding well against USD, and all you need to watch out for at the moment on Phantom, you've got a big resistance band here, 0.62. Once we blow that thing, then the fun is really going to start for Phantom. So right now, you got resistance 0.62. Look out in that region. That is where you want to be TPing if you are sitting in longs. Once we pop that, once we've got new support, well, then there's going to be a little bit of fun. And for Phantom, I see 𝗙𝗪𝗓𝗕𝗏 says Phantom has scared us. Okay, let's bring in the meme. Let's bring in the meme expert here. Hello, welcome, Roger Federer. Are you a tennis fan as well?
Oh, a fan of all sports, all winners, of course.
Nice. So for those of you that don't know, this is 𝗬𝗎𝗔𝗓. He's one of the legends on Twitter. He's one of the best DGen meme traders that I've ever come across, and we've been fortunate enough to get him into Sniper Club as well. So he's involved in one of our channels on Sniper Club. We've got a meme channel, and he's dropping alpha in there all day. And you would have seen him on Run Show. You would have seen him on my show, and you've probably been on a couple of other shows. Have you been with Kyle?
Not yet, no. But hey, just make it a grand tour. Add me to all the things.
Okay, so I wanted to get you on here today because I wanted your opinion on obviously what you are busy dropping at the moment, what your best calls and things like that at the moment. And then I did see an interesting tweet today regarding reigniting the political meme situation. And I just wanted to go through a couple of these meme coins at the moment, and then get your idea or get your views on the current situation, and see what other DGen calls you have. So guys, this is Spoon. You can follow him on Twitter. It's SP, and that's 00N. So don't type in Spoon, type in SP00N, then you'll find him. And used car, that was a banger. Arab cat, that was a banger. Dogie, what are the other big ones? What are the other big ones that
I don't know. It's I have a short memory in this space. It's one of those things where great, these things did well, previously, but what are we going to do now for everybody today? What have you done for us lately? That's what we're going to focus on.
Okay, nice. Well, guys, follow him on Twitter. You can see he's got a nice little feed there. I see he's got a little Sniper Club pinned message there. And if you want access to Spoon daily, you can get him in the Sniper Club. You can just grab that link in the description or grab that link on his Twitter and take a look. So McKenna, interesting tweet here today. You heard last week there was all this drama with this meme coin on DJT, and they found out the guy that did it and all these types of things. But basically he's saying the MAGA meme coin project has now donated $2 million to homeless veterans and child trafficking protection charities, making it the largest charity meme coin ever. And he's basically calling a bottom of the current political situation. So the first one I wanted to actually look at was this Bowden. How are you on your political meme tokens? Yeah,
so you know what? Personally, they're not a favorite of mine, but I will trade anything. So I think it's a no-brainer. We know how this election cycle is going to go. We know we have debates coming up, and it's just one of the things where you just have to park and sit on your hands and just get into some of these things that look like they're about bottomed out or oversold.
Yeah, I mean, this Bowden is actually ridiculous. I mean, it's been so oversold at the moment, and this thing's not going to get buried. I mean, this thing surely is going to get a few legs. It's another 800% back to the highs. But, I think for me, this is now really moving into a very big zone of interest here. So I'm looking to add to this Bowden position here. Look at this. We've got this nice little horizontal here. Little banger in this zone, and 74 million market cap now. What did it peak at? I mean, I think it peaked at about 400 million or what, something along those lines.
Yeah, it was a runner.
It was a big player. So Bowden, presidential debate coming up soon. Presidential action happening. There's going to be handbags getting thrown around, things like that, I'm sure. And now might be a time to start looking at the narrative. So Bowden looking good here for me in the zone, 0.08. Okay, nice little zone there for me. So that is political play number one. And let's not forget Trump. This is Trump, and this was his $340 million market cap play at the moment, and also looking relatively bottomed out on this current move. So, I mean, I know you like to chart some of these meme coins. I've seen your charts floating around, but I mean, also looking interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, anything Trump related at this point is, I think if you don't at least have some exposure, you're going to be missing out. Now, will all of them hit the same way? No, but we know what's going on right now. We know we're oversold on a lot of these things, and they have huge communities. And yeah, I mean, play the events, play the things that are coming up, and this is going to be only get bigger and bigger as we near the actual election. In November of this year. So.
Yeah, I think all of these things are going to get legs. I think all of them are going to get a second bite. Yeah, we saw the hype. I think that it was just a taste of what's to come on some of these. So that's another big call here for you guys if you want a bit of that action. Let's see. So we got 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗏, we got Mega, and then there's Felon as well. Also bottomed out. Could be a little bit of action here. 11 million.
I mean, listen, his time in courts are not over. Obviously, a lot of these court cases he's in aren't going to actually take place until probably after the election, but it's still in the news constantly in America, right? There's always sound bites of him talking about, judges or this and that. And so, I mean, it's just, to me, to not have exposure to some of these things is just crazy to me.
Okay, so here's another political play, Felon. Okay, and then I've got my low cap play that I missed the big move. I missed the big one on Mega and 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗏 and those type of things.
DTI, yeah.
And I've got DTI. Let's just get the right one. So this is my low cap. This is my low cap play. Okay, this is my low cap banger play here for DTI. So it's a dark horse here for me, but also now moving into my second level. So we pretty much, we're busy bouncing off it right now. Let's just get the right, let's get some 4 hours out here. Okay, so DTI, nice little banger for me. Could be a 20xer, could be a 10xer. I don't think I'm going to 10x on Mega. I don't think I'm going to 10x on 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗏. So I'm looking at this guy, and right now reacting a little bit nicely. Yeah, look at what do we got? We got 0.00085. So for me, that's a nice little support band. We marked that one out for you guys. So there you go. You've got 4 political plays here. Never mind 𝗬𝗘𝗧 as well. 𝗬𝗘𝗧. He's probably going to be interviewing a ton of these guys. So 𝗬𝗘𝗧's another play for you guys. So there's 5 actual meme potentials here based on the political narrative that are interesting here to me. Any other plays that you like?
In terms of the political realm, you have Newsom, right? Because there's this constant conspiracy speculations on Twitter that if Biden, Biden's not going to make it, in terms of his health and things like that. So he could be replaced with like Newsom as a candidate. This whole narrative that's going on, and it doesn't matter how logical or illogical it is. All it matters is that's what people are talking about on Twitter, right? So, sentiment around Newsom, and then on Solana, NOOSUM, and that particular one, and then you have also MAGA, just the hat. It's just Trump's hat, right? On ETH still as well. And I know there's a lot of, I talked to a lot of guys that are big whales in that particular token, and the team really knows what they're doing over there.
Which one was that?
So MAGA is the hat, the Trump hat on ETH.
Okay, let's go. This guy. Okay. This guy. There you go. Okay, yeah. That chart still looks good. That looks solid. Okay, so guys, there's a ton of options here for you guys. You want to trade the political narrative, take your pick, and these all should have some kind of activity. If there's debates going on and things happening here, there should be action in some of these. This chart looks decent as well, holding really nicely, really holding these levels well. So looks like a potential breakout here brewing at the moment. So okay, that's MAGA, the hat. Okay, let's move on. What are your top 3 or your top 2 plays for the next, say, week or 3? What are you looking at the moment?
Yeah, so I think a lot of there's a lot of oversaturation on Solana. These pump funds, a lot of them coming out, don't break 500, 600K market cap before they dump or they're rugged or whatever. So there's a lot of gambling going on right now. But smart money is accumulating things, I think, within metas that never tend to go away, which is anything that's WIF-like, like a dog or cat token, taken from like Instagram accounts or actual pictures of dogs and cats with outfits and stuff like that. And so I actually found what I think is a sleeper, which is called Mugi, M-U-G-I. And it is literally the first dog to take a selfie of himself. It was a meme created in 2017, I believe. And I think a lot of people were aping in and jumping into another token called Selfie, right? But that was just a dog photoshopped with a phone, right? Look like he's taking a selfie. This is actually a dog who took a selfie. So if Selfie token ran to like 8, 9, 10 million, whatever it was, like I think this is a sleeper. And the team that took over the community takeover seems to be pretty competent. I just think it's a good, really micro cap play.
Okay, so Mugi the dog, tiny little community, yes, 7,700 followers.
I mean, look at
it. Okay, so guys, if you're looking at this stuff saying, oh, this doesn't make sense, that's correct. You got to dumb yourself down as much as possible and then dumb yourself down some more. And then these memes could make sense to you. Okay, so there's a dog who took a selfie of himself, Mugi.
Yep.
Tiny market cap, guys, so play safe here. This thing is tiny, okay? To play very safe here. Don't ape into this thing. Don't buy the top. If you're watching this show late and the candle's ripping, don't buy this thing. You're gonna get
red, guys.
Buy the red every time. Okay, so remember, this thing could pump. Let it buy it when it dips back down. Just like you're gonna buy Boden now, DTI, MAGA, you're buying them on weakness. You don't want to buy these things where they're sending out guard candles here. So just play safe, especially if you, for those of you watching the show a little bit late now, you're missing the live. Just check out the chart first before you ape into this thing. Okay, what else we got going on?
So the other one that I really like is called Cat Own Kimono, COK, and basically the reason I like this is, again, it's narrative based. The things I'm about to describe are things that really start to pique interest from degens in this market. And that is a couple things. This was the first cat token to launch on Solana. Second, it was the same wallet deployer as WIF. So the same dev that, had created the dog with hat token also created this one as well. And so you have two narratives there. Also, the team that took this over at I don't even know what it was, 20,000K market cap, whatever it was. But the team that took over, they're continuing to buy more. Their treasury is super fat. This is one of the most stacked community takeover teams. So guys, when I say CTO, that means community takeover. The dev's gone, right? So one of the most stacked CTO teams I've ever seen in terms of their network, who they have contact with, people that rub elbows with people in hedge funds or OTC desks. I mean, crazy big names have been buying spot on this and buying the dip. So I am super excited about this one. I really think that this is one of those 500 million plus tokens in the right sentiment, and as things get bullish again with meme tokens. I just think we have certain metas that come and go all the time, and most of them kind of fade away, and that's it for that meta cycle for a long time. These types of tokens that are WIF like, I think these are the ones that are probably optimal for long-term holds, especially if they have a competent CTO team and they're actually buying the chart and building up their treasury to get ready for bigger things. These guys are not in this for a 2x. The guys in this team firmly believe this could be a huge gainer in future, and they're investing a lot of time and their own money into this chart.
Okay, well, nice little level here for Cock. I mean, this is now our second venture into Cock, but the other one was on AVAX, I think it was, Cock in U. But here's a Cock on Sol. And
Jesus. The second venture? We even talked about the first one. Jesus.
Dude, embrace the cock. That's all I can say.
After the show.
My second go at some cock, bro. Okay, so... Okay, nice little level here. Nothing to argue about with on the chart. Check this one out. COK, Cat Own Kimono. This chart looks healthy. I love this. Clean invalidation. If you lose these lows, you can see it's such a clean exit here. If this thing's not working out, look at these lows. So if we start losing that low, then you're looking deeper, you're looking darker. But if you want to have a go, here's a nice little level for you guys. Okay, so guys, this legend is now available in the Sniper Club. You saw him on his Twitter there. He's also got a post there. So if you want a piece of this, he's dropping daily alpha in the Sniper Club for you guys. There's a link in the description. Join the Sniper Club.
I'm going to give him one more thing, just because I think people are turning off and not paying attention to a certain gentleman on Twitter who took over the meta for a week, and that's Andrew Tate. right? And so I just want to talk about the fact that Andrew Tate has been putting out cryptic messages for a week now about diamond handing, about burning tokens. Why is that important? He has a public wallet, okay, that people send tokens to projects that are Tate related. And in the past, he has burned those tokens and they have sent. Daddy token went to like 250 mil. He's embraced that as sort of like one of his main tokens that he really likes and may do something with his university with it. But he's also said that he's, or alluded to the fact that he wants more tokens in that public wallet and he will burn them all. The ones that, basically show the most strength. So a token like MGM, which is most Googled man, is a phrase that he's used in the past over the last year. And that token's been sitting there for about a week after launch. And that token is currently at the top of his wallet, outside of a few scam tokens that are in there that I don't think Tate will interact with. It's pretty much the top one that's been there for a week. The team donated $5,000 to his charity. And I think this is one that if he mentions this or tweets Google Man or MGM, it could go really, really far. He's one of these guys where he likes to play the game. He's going to do what's going to get him engagement the best. And so I think a lot of people have switched off and they're not paying attention. And I think he's going to pull attention right back onto himself and these Tate tokens, because he loves it when people make money and come back to him and say, hey, you mentioned this token, I got in early and now you made me a millionaire. That's sort of his whole thing. So I think most Google man is one. He also mentioned on a space yesterday the phrase most Googled man. So I don't know. I look for little hints from this guy. He usually leaves breadcrumbs, and most people would probably not think much of it, but I think it's actually going to lead to bigger things.
Okay, well, risk play, small market cap. It's $1 million market cap, pushing into a little resistance band. If this thing pops, you know the drill. You can treat these things like the same way we treat our other charts that we play with. If we start popping this thing, that is support you want to be watching, and you're looking for higher. So if we pop this thing and we hold the support, then we could be looking at bigger things. So eyes on Tate. Follow him on Twitter, I guess. Where else do we get some hints here from this guy?
That's really it. I mean, he drops hints all the time on his timeline. Sometimes he'll drop a tweet that alludes to something and then he'll delete it 10 minutes later. He loves to create, as he calls, chaos with all the crypto dorks. That's his words, not mine.
Okay, well, you know the drill. Okay, so follow him on Twitter. See if you can get a clue out of Tate. But yeah, MGM looks interesting, pushing into resistance now. If this thing pops, you just want to see that thing hold a support. But right, guys, I mean, we can't dish out alpha all day long, but this man's in the Sniper Club. He's in our channel there, dropping alpha every day, interacting every day. If you want to pick his brain and learn things, there's a link in the description. Get involved. 𝗬𝗢𝗧, thank you, legend. Thanks for jumping on here. We'll catch you later. See you in the Sniper Club. Okay, so I've got a Sniper Club live Zoom session now for the closed guys in there. Guys, this is the plan. We know the move. Next 24 hours, these are your key levels for BTC. That's where I'm looking for longs off those support zones that I've given you. And you got a couple of altcoin setups here. So teed up for the next couple of days. Let's see if this is going to play out. And remember, just trade safe. Don't over leverage. Catch you guys later.